Welcome to Trending Now USA. This is Bella, and I am here with a story everyone in tennis is talking about right now. Across locker rooms, practice courts, broadcast booths, and social media timelines, one question keeps coming up with growing intensity. What exactly has changed in Coco Gauff's game, and why does it suddenly feel like the entire tour is adjusting to her instead of the other way around? Over the past stretch of the season, Gauff has not just been winning matches, she has been shaping narratives, forcing opponents to rethink patterns, and inviting analysts to revisit assumptions they thought were settled. The shift is not loud or flashy in the way a new racket paint job might be, but it is unmistakable, and the ripple effects are being felt far beyond the scorelines. For years, Coco Gauff has been framed as a prodigy with enormous potential, a player whose athleticism, court coverage, and competitive instincts set her apart even before she reached full physical maturity. That framing came with expectations and, at times, limitations in how her game was discussed. The conversation often circled around what she would become rather than what she already was. Now, the tone has changed. The talk is less about promise and more about precision, less about waiting and more about execution. The new strategy that has everyone talking is not a single tactic, but a layered evolution, one that blends patience with controlled aggression and instinct with calculation. At the heart of this evolution is a recalibration of how Gauff constructs points. Observers have noticed a clear departure from the all-or-nothing approach that sometimes crept into her matches in earlier seasons. Instead of rushing to end points with risky shots from neutral positions, she is extending rallies just enough to draw errors, while keeping herself in command. This does not mean she has abandoned her attacking instincts. On the contrary, she has refined them. The difference lies in timing. She is choosing her moments with greater clarity, waiting for the right ball, the right angle, the right opening. The result is a game that looks calmer but hits harder when it counts. Another aspect drawing attention is her serve strategy. Gauff's serve has long been a topic of debate, praised for its power but scrutinized for its consistency. Recently, there has been a noticeable shift toward variety and placement over sheer speed. She is mixing body serves with wide angles, disrupting rhythm and preventing opponents from settling into predictable return patterns. This adjustment has paid dividends not only in free points but also in setting up favorable first shots. By starting points on her terms more often, she has reduced pressure on the rest of her game and increased her margin for error. The return game, too, has undergone a quiet transformation. Gauff is standing with more intention, sometimes taking a step inside the baseline to apply pressure, other times dropping back to buy time and reset rallies. This flexibility has made her returns less readable and more effective. Opponents accustomed to seeing her in one position now find themselves second-guessing serve selection. That hesitation, even for a fraction of a second, can be the difference between control and chaos at the elite level. Beyond the technical adjustments, there is a mental dimension to Gauff's new strategy that cannot be overlooked. The composure she is displaying in tight moments has become a defining feature of her recent matches. Break points, tiebreakers, late-set pressure situations, these moments no longer seem to speed her up. If anything, she appears more grounded, more deliberate. The body language tells a story of confidence rooted in preparation rather than emotion. This is the kind of presence that unsettles opponents because it suggests resilience that cannot be easily shaken. What makes this evolution particularly compelling is how it aligns with Gauff's growth as a thinker of the game. Tennis at the highest level is as much about problem-solving as it is about shot-making. Gauff is now showing a willingness to adjust mid-match, to abandon a plan that is not working and pivot without panic. This adaptability has turned potential setbacks into opportunities. When an opponent finds a temporary edge, Gauff responds with adjustments rather than frustration. That responsiveness is a hallmark of champions, and it is becoming a consistent part of her identity. The impact of this new strategy is evident in the way matches unfold. Long rallies no longer feel like endurance tests but strategic exchanges. Short points are earned, not forced. There is a sense of control that permeates her performances, even when the scoreline is close. Fans have noticed it, commentators have highlighted it, and fellow players have acknowledged it, sometimes indirectly, through their own tactical changes when facing her. Another layer of the conversation centers on how Gauff is using her athleticism more efficiently. Early in her career, her speed and defensive skills were often used as safety nets, allowing her to retrieve balls and extend points almost by default. Now, those same skills are being deployed with intention. Defense has become offense by design. She is not just chasing down shots, she is turning defense into neutral positions and neutral positions into attacks. This efficiency conserves energy and applies sustained pressure, a combination that can wear down even the most seasoned opponents. The forehand, long scrutinized and frequently discussed, has also found a new rhythm within this strategic framework. Rather than trying to overpower opponents with raw pace, Gauff is using spin, depth, and placement to create openings. The forehand is no longer an isolated weapon but part of a sequence, a step in a larger plan. This integration has reduced unforced errors and increased consistency, without sacrificing aggression. Equally important is how Gauff's net play has evolved. She is choosing her approaches more selectively, moving forward when she has genuinely set up the point rather than as a hopeful change of pace. At the net, she looks more assured, more decisive. These forays forward are not frequent enough to become predictable, but they are effective enough to keep opponents honest. The mere possibility of a well-timed approach adds another layer of complexity to her game. The broader context of this transformation cannot be ignored. Gauff is navigating a tour filled with power hitters, tacticians, and players with vastly different styles. To succeed consistently in such an environment, a player must be able to impose her game while respecting the strengths of others. Gauff's new strategy strikes that balance. It is assertive without being reckless, adaptable without being passive. This balance is what has sparked so much discussion because it suggests sustainability. Media reaction has mirrored the intrigue felt within the tennis community. Analysts who once focused on what Gauff needed to fix are now discussing how opponents might need to adjust to her. That shift in narrative is significant. It marks a turning point from developmental storylines to competitive dominance. The language has changed, and with it, the expectations. Fans, too, have responded to this evolution with renewed enthusiasm. There is a sense of witnessing a player coming into her own, not in a sudden burst, but through thoughtful refinement. Social media buzz has highlighted specific points, matches, and moments where the new strategy is on full display. These clips circulate not just as highlights, but as examples of intelligent tennis, fueling conversations that go beyond fandom into appreciation of the craft. Inside the locker room, respect often shows itself subtly. Players speak of tough matchups, of needing to bring their best, of small margins. When Gauff's name comes up in these contexts, it reflects an understanding that she is no longer just a challenge of athleticism, but of strategy. Facing her now requires preparation on multiple fronts: mental, physical, and tactical. There is also a generational aspect to this story. Gauff represents a cohort of players who grew up with access to data, analytics, and a deeper understanding of the sport from a young age. Her new strategy seems to embrace that reality. Patterns are recognized quickly, tendencies are exploited, and adjustments are made with confidence. This modern approach does not discard intuition but enhances it with information. As the season progresses, the question becomes not whether this strategy works, but how it will continue to evolve. Tennis is a game of constant adaptation, and success invites scrutiny. Opponents will study footage, coaches will devise countermeasures, and the cycle will continue. What makes Gauff's current trajectory exciting is the sense that she is prepared for that cycle. Her game appears built not on a single trick, but on principles that can withstand change. Another talking point has been the emotional maturity that accompanies these tactical shifts. Matches are emotional by nature, and Gauff has always played with visible passion. Now, that passion is channeled with greater control. Celebrations feel purposeful, frustrations are brief, and focus returns quickly. This emotional regulation complements her strategic clarity, creating a feedback loop that reinforces confidence. From a broader perspective, Gauff's evolution is contributing to a larger conversation about the direction of women's tennis. Her blend of power, movement, and intelligence reflects a sport that values versatility and adaptability. As younger players look for role models, they see not just highlight reel shots, but a blueprint for long-term success. The numbers, while impressive, only tell part of the story. Win percentages, break point conversions, and rally lengths all point toward improvement, but the real change is qualitative. It is visible in how points are constructed, how pressure is managed, and how momentum is controlled. These are elements that statistics can hint at but not fully capture. As Bella here on Trending Now USA, watching this unfold has been a reminder of why tennis remains such a compelling sport. It is not static. Players grow, adapt, and redefine themselves. Coco Gauff's new strategy has become a focal point not because it is revolutionary in isolation, but because it represents a player taking ownership of her game and shaping her destiny. Looking ahead, the anticipation surrounding Gauff's matches has intensified. Each appearance now carries the promise of insight into how her strategy will be tested and refined. Fans tune in not just to see if she wins, but to see how she wins. That curiosity is a testament to the depth she has added to her game. In the end, what has everyone talking is not just a tactical tweak or a technical adjustment. It is the emergence of a complete competitor, one who understands her strengths, addresses her challenges, and approaches the game with a clear, confident plan. Coco Gauff's new strategy is a statement, subtle but powerful, and its echoes are being heard across the tennis world. This is Bella for Trending Now USA, bringing you the stories that define the moment. As Coco Gauff continues this chapter of her career, one thing is certain: the conversation is far from over, and the strategy that has everyone talking is only just beginning to reveal its full impact.